February 2nd, 2008. It was a cold Saturday morning in Tinley Park, Illinois, a quiet suburb just outside Chicago. Shoppers moved between stores at the Brookside Marketplace, and employees were getting ready for a steady weekend shift. Inside a Bryant clothing store, the day had just begun, but no one inside could have possibly anticipated the horror that was about to unfold. This is the story of the Bryant murders. The Bryant store specialized in plus-size women's clothing. It was a familiar retail space, fitting rooms along one wall, a sales floor in the center, and a stockroom in the back. Shortly after 10:30 a.m., a man entered the store. Witness descriptions later identified him as a black male wearing dark clothing, with some reports mentioning a long coat. At first, nothing seemed unusual. He blended in, but within moments, the situation inside the store changed drastically. The man produced a handgun, later described as a .40 caliber firearm. He approached the employees and calmly directed them toward the back of the store. Over the next few minutes, any other employees and customers who were present were also escorted to the stockroom area. In total, 6 women were gathered together. Investigators later stated the suspect appeared calm and deliberate. There were no confirmed reports of panic or struggle in those initial moments. The women were then restrained with duct tape. What might have started as a simple robbery was escalating into something far more severe. The gunman discharged his weapon multiple times at close range. 5 women lost their lives. 1 woman survived, despite sustaining a critical injury. The suspect then fled the store on foot, disappearing into the morning, around 11 o'clock a.m. A 911 call was placed. It came from the lone surviving victim. First responders arrived to a scene of unimaginable tragedy. They found 5 women deceased in the rear stockroom. The surviving victim was immediately transported for emergency medical treatment. The entire shopping center was secured, and news of the incident spread quickly across the region. What had occurred inside that store was now the focus of a major, multi-agency homicide investigation. The women who lost their lives that day were Gwendolyn Gwen Pogue, who was 47 and the store manager. Mary Molly Kwaja, 46, and Paula Degnan, 37, were both employees. Susie Zivkovic, 44, and Beverly Bev Washington, 30, were customers. Each had arrived at the store for completely routine reasons: to work a shift or to do some weekend shopping. Their families and the entire Tinley Park community were left shattered, searching for answers that wouldn't come. For privacy reasons, limited identifying information about the surviving victim has been released publicly, and her bravery in the aftermath has been crucial to the investigation. The Tinley Park Police Department led the investigation, supported by the FBI and Illinois State Police. The store was meticulously processed for evidence. Duct tape used to restrain the victims was collected and analyzed. Critically, DNA evidence was recovered from the scene and entered into CODIS, the National DNA Database. However, to this day, no confirmed match has been publicly identified. Investigators learned that approximately $2,000 was missing from the store, but they faced a major setback. The store's internal surveillance cameras were not operational at the time of the incident. This forced investigators to rely heavily on witness accounts and the physical forensic evidence in the days and weeks that followed. Thousands of tips poured in from the public. Authorities have consistently stated that robbery appeared to be the primary motive, but the sheer level of violence prompted much deeper analysis. Key questions tormented investigators. Was the suspect trying to eliminate all witnesses? Did he act alone, or did he have help? Did he have some prior familiarity with the store's layout or its procedures? Despite exploring possible connections to other crimes in the region, investigators have never been able to confirm links to a serial offender or any organized group. Law enforcement has remained disciplined, cautioning against speculation beyond the verified evidence. Over the years, advancements in forensic science have allowed investigators to re-examine the preserved evidence. The DNA sample recovered from the scene remains securely stored, waiting for future technological breakthroughs that might finally lead to an identification. Authorities continue to accept tips from the public, and periodic reviews of the case are conducted to see it with fresh eyes. But despite all the extensive investigative work, no arrests have ever been made. The Lane Bryant murders remain one of the most well-known and haunting unsolved cases in Illinois history. For the families of Gwen, Molly, Paula, Susie, and BV, the passage of time does nothing to diminish their profound loss. For the investigators, the case file remains open and active, a puzzle they are determined to solve. And for the community of Tinley Park, the events of that cold Saturday morning are never forgotten. An ordinary retail store, a routine Saturday, a crime that remains unresolved more than a decade later. Someone, somewhere, may still hold the information that could finally provide clarity and bring justice for these 5 women. Thank you for watching.